it's great to be here today with you. It's an honor. I saw the movie this morning also.
Fantastic.
With your presentation. Was really nice.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Did you like the movie?
Of course, it's one of my favorites actually.
Okay, so you knew it before?
Yeah, I've seen it a few times.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Did you like the new music?
Yeah. Actually, can you tell us a little bit about this new soundtrack? Like, how did it happen?
Yeah. So when the movie was first made 100 years ago, sound wasn't that was kind of new, and so they didn't, put a lot of effort. Then when my grandfather was 87 years old, he wanted to redo the music, but he gave some pieces to his music partner. But it was mainly for comedies and something, and so they didn't really work out. And then he passed away, obviously, and in 2003, we found at the house a lot of recordings on tapes of him playing the piano, because in the 1950s he started redoing all the music for all of his films. And so we had over 20 hours of songs. There was, I think, like 22 finished, 19 unfinished musical pieces. And so recently what we did is we gave it to Timothy Bronk to kind of go through and find which pieces were more suited for drama and some pieces were also already meant for limelight and things like this. So he went through it and was able to dissect it and rebuild it and construct it into the music that you have today. So it's all original pieces from my grandfather, and I think my grandfather would be very happy because the film is actually finally, it's got its justice with a beautiful soundtrack. Yeah.
It's a beautiful soundtrack.
Yeah.
Also, one of my favorite things about this movie is how modern it looks and how influential it was in movies that were made after that one during the 20s.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think Chaplin managed to make such a modern movie so early in his career?
Yeah, I think he was just very in tune with movies, and I mean, it was his passion. And even if you think the reason he started directing is because back in the day it was called the flickers. They were just saying, here's a camera, go in front of the camera and be funny. And he was someone, he wanted to be a serious actor. He wanted to do Shakespeare when he was younger. And so even when he was acting, he was like, no, but there should be a story. What is it about? So that's why he started directing his own stuff, to bring a bit more of a story. So then I guess the evolution makes sense that when he wanted to do a drama and he wanted it to be more realistic, and to be, and it's incredible because it is one of his most influential movies, with the way he toned down the acting and he made the characters more relatable. But it was also, back in the day when it came out, it was his first flop. The film didn't do well because I think it was too, the people didn't get it back then. It was too avant-garde.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And how important do you think is this movie, 100 years after it's been released? Is it still relevant? Or?
I think the story is still relevant, so to speak, and I think it's still relevant because it's part of also movie history and how things change and how things evolve. So it's interesting to see that. But I find I think it's a good glimpse into history, which is interesting. The Roaring Twenties, the decadence, and everything, and it's funny because it was based on Peggy Hopkins Joyce, who my grandfather dated for a while, and it's loosely based on stories she told him, and she's like the original gold digger, so they called her, and it's just funny to see how some things haven't changed that much.
You're also the founder of the Chaplin Awards.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a bit about this initiative?
Yeah, so the Chaplin Award is an award that we give to actors and directors for not for a movie or one project, but for their whole career. And it's it's a lifetime achievement, or going into the Hall of Fame, so to speak. And there's we launched the created the one in Asia 5 years ago for the Chinese Hong Kong cinema, because I feel like there's a lot of really incredible film industries around the world, and we don't see it because of the language barrier. And my grandfather didn't want to speak in his films because he didn't want that language barrier. He believed in, being a citizen of the world, and we're all humans on the planet. And so we've had the Chaplin Award in America for 50 years, where it's been given to incredibly talented people. And so I wanted to bring it to the Asian market and celebrate the talented people from over there. And then this summer we're going to be launching the first one for Bollywood as well, which is also a huge industry. And just because we don't get it, or we're not used to it, doesn't mean that they're not talented, because they are extremely talented people there too.
Mm-hmm. And I'm curious, what's your favorite Chaplin movie?
I don't have one favorite. I like a few, but my favorites, the top few, City Lights, The Kid, The Great Dictator, obviously, because that speech at the end is so powerful. The Circus. I really like The Circus because I love seeing him on the rope and being so acrobatic and thinking, my God, like, I can't do that. And my grandfather was doing that.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because I don't know if he really liked that one, because I heard that he was his least favorite or something.
I think the reason he didn't like that one is because he had a lot of troubles. He was going through a divorce, and he had a lot of personal issues, and he had a lot of problems on set of finishing it. And I think he didn't like it because it reminded him of a bad time of his life. And I don't think it's because the film is not good.
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah. And you are also the founder of the Crypto Chaplin, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Crypto Chaplin. So it's NFTs for good causes. So I created a character called Kiera the Hero. It's my alter ego. Mm-hmm. And we launched a series of 8 crypto cards every once in a while, and each series of 8 represent a cause. So the first one was for education, and it was with the Desert Flower, which I work with, a charity that I work with. So it's about education. Then we did one for the Amazon, and now we have one coming out for the ocean. And each time it's going to be a different theme.
Sounds great.
Yeah, might as well. It's mixing 2 of my favorite things, arts and charity. And I think it's a great, with NFTs, it's a good platform to be able to do that.
And do you have any other new projects in mind after this?
The Chaplin Awards are actually going to expand it into more of a festival field in Asia, so we're going to have something for the up-and-coming talents as well, and not just lifetime achievements. And then otherwise, with the Desert Flower, we're working on creating a musical around the Wars Deary, is the person who started the charity, about her life. I wanted to do a documentary also about my grandfather and as a composer, because I think people don't know that, and this now with all this new music and stuff happening, it's I think it's an interesting subject to let people in. And some producing stuff and Chaplin Award stuff.
Yeah, that documentary sounds great, actually.
Yeah, you like it?
I'd love to see it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I think it's really interesting. I've been working for a while with this guy called Philip Quince, who's a violinist, and he he does a show of some of my grandfather's songs and what they were inspired by, and like some funny stories of my grandfather meeting composers. So I was like, oh, this is cool. And then there's the whole Timothy Brock, who's been bringing back, and I'm like, oh, putting all these people to talk about Chaplin through the music will be interesting, especially because it's like the silent actor, but speaking through music. So that's interesting.
Yeah, so I don't have any more questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.